Great rising YouTube. Great rising Facebook. Great rising. How y'all doing today? I'm doing good, good. And I hope you are too. Well, we ain't got too much time. I ain't too much early. Yeah. Well, right on time. Let's do this. Get your mat, get your chair.
I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh,
get your weights. If you're lifting your weights.
I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be
get your chair, get your mats, get on your bike. Start your treadmill. Let's get walking.
Thank you for the company.
Yes, yes.
I'm walking. Yes, indeed.
Oh, yes.
Walking. Also happy to be
the end of August.
Thank you for the company.
We came through the heat, coming through the heat.
I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, yes, indeed, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company.
Hey, great rising. Hey, Joan. Hey, Mary. Hey, Diane. Hey, Canada. Hey, Elle. I see Charles. And everybody else as I go along. Oh, okay. You know, because I'm walking slow, and even it's hot now, but as we go into September, and we all really know about, they call it the Indian summer. So it'll be, a few weeks before we get the cool air and pick up the pace. But what I want you to know is, on sensitive matters, I will ask you to mute me. Though, sometimes I feel that you can just open up and just don't take the X off the speaker. Because once your body sees me moving, it will move. But for me, I'm walking slow, I'm talking, it's good therapy. So go ahead and mute, do your arm length. Go ahead and mute, I'm walking. So I wanted to tell y'all about the Costco girl. J.K. Rowling is wonderful. Her Harry Potter books are wonderful for so many things. It is so horrible that people get tied up in that whole witch thing. It is good how she has to play on words. Just a lot of good things. Well, anyway. There's one thing that you learn. You don't learn it till I think you're like in the third book. Every time that Harry goes to Hogwarts, he goes different ways. Sometimes they take the boat. One time he went in on the flying car. And then by the third book, he went in the coach driven by thistles. Now, everyone can't see thistles. You have to have had a near-death experience or something really traumatic has had to happen in your life in order for you to see the thistles. Now, Luna Lovejoy, she could see the thistles. I don't think Neville was able to see the thistles. But Ron couldn't see them. Hermione couldn't see them because they didn't have any trauma, anything in their lives, which is good. Now, if you've had trauma in your life, you can see the thistles. And sometimes in my posts on sex abuse, rape, different things like that, and the way I respond to people, I was like, well, you don't know because you can't see the thistles. You haven't been in a life and death situation like that. So, when I first heard about Costco Girl, I just listened, because I listened to Nosy Ho on spell Heaux, brilliant. Another play on J.K. Rowling's book, The Horcrux. So, 5 minutes already. I better hurry up and talk faster. This walk will be over, and I won't even be able to finish what I'm saying. But y'all mute me. Okay. So, well, y'all muted me. But like, comment, and share if you're listening. I'll just have to put it in the thing. So, when I saw Costco, when they were talking about Costco Girl, I dreaded it because when you are out in this world without the protection of a mother, I know some people say, oh, what about the father? I don't know that. I've never, to my knowledge, really experienced that protection from great rise and things for coming on the walk. That kind of protection. So I don't know that, but I know how it is. There is a famous line, again, my office. Hey, thanks for coming on the walk. Alice Walker has a line in the color purple that is so true. A girl child ain't safe in a house full of men. A girl child ain't safe in a house full of men. And that is so true. That is so true. But getting back to Costco Girl. I hadn't seen her picture. The lady was just talking about bumping into her at Costco and seeing this go down. She's sitting there eating, nobody else eating. I mean, you can't do that out in public, white people, when you have mixed race kids. You just can't do that. Take a hamburger, a sandwich, and put it in front of them. If she don't eat it, that's her business. But one thing about kids and eating, that's an attention giver for any mother. Why everybody else got food and you ain't got none? Because you say that naturally. When we were all young and we had our kids, my nieces and nephews, we would all go places and do something. And one person was sitting there and they weren't doing anything. Well, why is everybody else doing stuff and you're not doing anything? You send everybody to get food, and then you look around and like two kids, they have the food. You said, why are you sitting there with no food in front of you? Why don't you have food everybody else is eating? So that's a natural reaction for a mother. So I totally understand where the girl was coming from. So, but I hadn't seen the picture of the girl. So I'm listening, I'm going on, and Nosy Ho's like, oh, you gotta get out there, you gotta call, you gotta find out. And I know what she was talking about. But I hadn't seen the picture of Costco Girl yet. So, finally, I go to Nosy's page, and they put it up. And I knew that woman was right. I know that look. I know that feeling. I know how that head was angled. I know behind those eyes you praying. You praying for your situation to change. To just change the situation. Not to hate nobody. Not nobody to have, but to change the situation. Like she looked like she was enslaved. head was down. She had these braids flipped up. In 2021, they don't know how to go and get any kind of grease or gel. They don't know anything about hair for African American kids. If you ain't taking care of that, then you don't know anything about her. And I just looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm so glad that lady said something. I'm so glad she put us out there because she saw it. She has to know too. I'm trying to tell you. You know. Getting back to the thistles. You know. You know. You just know. If I was in that Costco resort, I would know. You know. Some of us can see the thistles. And a whole lot more can't, and I'm glad. My daughter does, she never saw the thistles. Not while I was taking care of her. And now she's taking care of herself. She has never been put in that situation to see the thistles. Okay. So, I called the DSS. Now, working in child care and with mentally challenged and stuff like that, you are mandated reporters. You are. And you go to these classes, and you look at these films, and they tell you all these things about mandating, what you're supposed to look for. And that's classic. I don't even know how they bring her out there like that, thinking that no one was going to say anything. That's the boldness of it. That's how bold they were. They've been getting away with it so long, they're still bold. So, y'all get your water. Cause that it am hot. So they found out that she's adopted. They found out another thing, which for me is red lights. Y'all know how I feel about them dentists. Tricked us for 30 years telling us we need to take antibiotics and never need to take them at all. And it's a joke for them. Every dentist I talk to about it find it to be the funniest thing in the world. They say, you're chumps. We had y'all taking antibiotics for over 30 years and you never had to take them. With the help of the medical field, of course. So, you know how I feel about dentists. And they had the highest rate of suicide, etc., etc. And then, when I kept reading the articles, how he threw his arms around her neck. You can see like he was walking her out. Over her shoulders, not around her neck, over her shoulders. And then the woman and the kids are in the back. They get in one van, Costco girl, which we know her name now is Molly. Molly gets in front with the dentist, guy in some van, and the women and children are in the back. Now, y'all know, I just started reading. I've been trying to read it, but I read a paragraph and I throw up. I read a paragraph and bile gets in my throat every time I read that the witness were read. Every time I see it, I just sort of throw up. Every time I read it, I read like a paragraph. And it sounds so stupid. Well, the main wife hates us. So she sits us down and she calls us bitch, whores, bastards, etc. But that's okay because she's mad because her husband took in another wife. Why are you abusing the kids? What are you abusing the kids for? But it's okay because as long as he is able to get his 3, 5, 7, 10 wives to screw, the kids they make, abused or not, he don't care. So, I'm seeing this, and I'm like, is this like being groomed for that kind of sister wife situation? A polygamous lifestyle? Is she the foster care, but is she his lover? That's what happens out in the Midwest. So, I volunteered to be with nosy investigations and see it through. Because they said that the police went and talked to the dentist, and the dentist said she's fine. And the DSS went, and children and they went, and everything was fine. But if we know them. There's a lot of dead babies around here that the child abuse agency said was fine, and clearly weren't. Let's take a break. The first half of this walk was brought to you by I Like to Say Yes. Keep the word yes in your child's vocabulary by reading I Like to Say Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I like to say yes. Yes, you can buy I Like to Say Yes at Archway, Barnes & Nobles, and Amazon. Hey, who's this? Hey, look at my baby. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. I done turned off all my friends. But I started losing those a long time ago. Let's stay healthy so we can all go to Las Vegas and get this house, and we can go gambling, and let's walk and do this, and let's talk and make plans. I have lost every single one of them. Okay, y'all still mute? I'll go back to mute. Anyway, so I volunteered to do some research. Next thing you know, we're going to have to get some money together. It's all going to come down to money. And just to hear Molly say, I'm fine. Y'all got phones. Put her in front of the phone and have her say, I am fine. I love living with this family here. But they won't do it. And that's a red state. They hate the fact that we're calling. They're shocked that we are even interested in it. For surely Molly is not the first one. When you call DSS and when you call the Gilbert, Arizona police, this Gilbert, Arizona child abuse hotline, they're like shocked, like, yeah, we've been abusing indigenous little kids and African American kids. We take them and put them in our homes so they can see how the white people live, but we don't do nothing for them. And if we do something to them, y'all won't care. So when we called through, they were very light. It was almost, I don't know, jokey. Like, you calling about one, there's like thousands going through that. Hello, all the minorities, little indigenous kids in Arizona and that Midwest is used as either sister wives or housekeepers. You late to the party. That's how I felt. They were like, what do you want us to go check that out for? That's common. My daughter says this about Kim Kardashian. She has mixed race kids. And she brought someone in to show her how to take care of her kids' hair. Because she knew that the texture of their hair and everything was different and had to be taken care of differently. Now see, the first thing I looked at that little girl's hair and said, and it's just the way it is. My mother said it. My grandmother said it. Aunts, cousin. The first thing they look at your hair and say, why you ain't got no grease in your hair? Why your hair so dry? So you see how the first alarms would have went off? If you can't take care of her enough to have grease put in her hair, and what, she's a teenager-ish, you can't cut that down into a fro and get some afro sheen? See what I'm saying? So those are the first sign of abuse. And now, when you look at it, these kids are money. See, I had to leave that guy from AFC. I thought he was really good. He has some good tags. It's called the AFC show. Good show. All for child protection. He had this shirt where he talks about the kids being just for the money. You know, kids for benefits. Like you have these kids to either get welfare checks or something like that. But how about adoptions for benefits? I didn't know that when you adopt a kid, you still get money. I thought when you adopt them, you're saying, I'm taking them under my income, my economics. But you get an income for adopted kids. Yes. Just like foster care. But you keep them. But the state sends you money. So in the Midwest, I guess now, best way to make some change is to get some children underneath you. They're all Mormons. That's another thing. They're Mormons. Ooh, child. More cults come out of, from what I've been seeing and researching. I've been doing true crime for years, reading all those books. From what I'm seeing, more cults come out of that Mormon church than any other place. Breeding ground. Because the underlying thing for the Mormons is sex. Dominating women, sex, and making babies. Which to men sound perfect. But then they want to branch out. They said, oh, really? And they said, and the woman said, no, we used to do that in the church, but we can't do that anymore. So then they said, well, I'm going to build a church, and we all come over here. And then we're going to say, yeah, you can have as many wives as you want. So, I volunteered with Nosy Help to look into Costco Girl. Let us see if we can hear her talk. And it's horrible. It's horrible. And you just don't know what's being done to her because, you know, mute me, 45 has empowered those people to do whatever they want to do to minorities and black. Like they did a free get out of jail card. And they said the Arizona Police Department is so crooked. And the Gilbert Police Department has a lawsuit against it by some female police officer. So you put that all together and you can say, Molly girl, you in trouble. Okay? So, we'll see what our next step we have to do with Nosy Ho. And let's get some finger stuff done. Ooh. Yeah, I had more friends when I started. I had a lot more friends when I started. And I can understand why that would change. I totally get it. It always happens. When I was going to the gym, I would be asking so many people, because they always had the free, you could bring a friend or something like that. And I always had like a ticket or something. I always say, oh, why don't you come? And you go to the gym, and people start staying away from you. Like you're like a pariah or something. So I figured maybe virtual reality, it can't be so bad. You know what I'm saying? It can't be so bad in virtual reality. You can't drive anybody else for exercise in virtual reality. Yes you can. Ha ha. Row row. Ha 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 ha. A little Scooby-Doo. A little Scooby-Doo. Row row. Oh row. Ha ha ha. He can't run along. Well, not running off Vicky. Vicky is very happy. She's happy I do our weights in the morning and do our walk. Come lift our weights. And one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you see, I can see the thistles. Boy, can I see them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There we go. Yeah. So, go and check it on Molly. And it's to put the notice out there. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. You know? Monique talking about coming out in public with bonnets on. How about coming out with the hair not even having no grease in it? If she was a young girl, I assure you, she would not want to be dressed like that. I assure you, she would want her hair done. Especially if she out there with all them Caucasians. But when you're a white family with African American or minority kids, you make it your business to find those things out. You make it your business if you care. But if you just getting the check and you just grooming her to be a sister wife, then I can see you not caring at all. So, there you have it. Yes. Oh, I walked through the whole month of August. I want to say y'all walk with me, but I don't know. I can't make that clean thing. Ha ha ha. I hope you did. But I know it's been a long time. 8 months, I should have gave up already and stopped. I know. My stick-to-itness have turned a lot of people off. Trust and believe, honey. Trust and believe. Yeah. Stick-to-itness. Not all that respected. But I'm so proud of my body. I can tell you just how great I feel. I feel wonderful. My feet feel good. My ankle, my shins are looking so good. From that round muscle part of the shin down to my ankle, It's so tight. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Every time in the morning, when I grease my feet and rub up the oil on my shin, I tell you, I'm like, thank you. That's what stops the wobbling. That's what stops the wobbling. That's the muscle that I needed to be stronger. That's the muscle. And I got it. I got that muscle and made it stronger. I got that muscle, made it stronger just by walking one foot in front of the other. Yes. Come on, y'all. This walk is over.
I'm walking.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, so happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, yes, indeed, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company.
Yes. Ha ha. Thank you so much for the company, y'all. And thank you so much for using your mute button. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, share. Like, comment, share. See you tomorrow.